So guys, the international break is over. It'll be over until March, meaning the World Cup 2018 Russia qualifiers have finally come to a close, and we now know what countries will be going to Russia, competing in one of the greatest tournaments of all time, and the ones that aren't going to be going to Russia and will be watching from home. Surprisingly, this year there's been a lot of big nations, some former giants, rising national teams that will be not competing in the 2018 World Cup. Recently, there have been speculation and rumors that the USA will be hosting a little mini reject World Cup, and has come to a bit of criticism, bit of mixed reviews overall, and it got me thinking, what would happen if that actually happened in FIFA? All the countries, all the big countries that didn't make the World Cup, who got really close, have won a lot of big trophies in the past. Let's see how that would pan out on FIFA 18 and see what country would win the reject World Cup. What teams are in this World Cup? In Group A, Austria, a great European team. They've made the Euros. They've got such great players such as Alaba and Arnautovic. African Cup of Nations champions Cameroon. They've got Ivory Coast. We know how many great players they've produced over the years, such as Drogba, Eric Bailly, such great players in that team. And of course, we've got the 2 years running Copa America champions Chile, Alexis Sanchez, Claudio Bravo, Arturo Vidal. So many great players in that team. They just couldn't make the World Cup, unfortunately. We move on to Group B, and this is a bit of an emotional group for me. We do have the Czech Republic. Not really that big of a football nation, but they do have a lot of great players, like Petr Cech being the one that stands out the most, but still a big European nation that did not make the World Cup. We move on to second, Greece. Of course, they're not a major powerhouse, but still, a nation that, you'd expect to reach the World Cup. Didn't make it, unfortunately. Lost out to Croatia, deservedly. Ireland and Italy, who did not make the World Cup as well. We're going to start off with Ireland here. They pushed Denmark all the way to the second leg. Unfortunately, in Dublin, they lost 5-1 to Christian Eriksen and Lord Bettner's Denmark. And we move on to one that hits home for me. My home nation, Italy. Unfortunately, they did get knocked out of the World Cup. Oh, not the World Cup. They didn't even make the World Cup. They got knocked out. They got eliminated. They will not be in the World Cup next year in 2018 by Sweden. Zlatan Ibrahimovic's Sweden. We got knocked out 1-0 on aggregate. We could not score a goal over 180 minutes, and very, very sad time. Italy are sort of a fallen giant. Didn't make it out of the group stage in 2010 or 2014, so we were still hoping we'd make the World Cup. Unfortunately, to save us from a bit of heartbreak right now, we move on to a bit of a group of death here. We move on to Group C. We got the Netherlands, World Cup 2010 finalist. And what happens? They didn't make the Euros in 2016. And then to top it off, they didn't make the 2018 World Cup. Such great players. I mean, Robin, I'm pretty sure, retired from international football. You got great players, Van Dijk, Schneider, Van Persie. So they've had a few really good years in the past decade. Unfortunately for the Netherlands, they'll be joining Italy, two big nations that won't be in the 2018 World Cup. But we move on to the country of New Zealand. Yes, not a big footballing nation, but they were so close to getting to the World Cup. Drew 0-0 with Peru in the final qualifying game, and they lost 2-0 on aggregates, but I've included them in there because they were so close today. We move on to Euro 2016. Surprise package, Wales. Decent players playing for Wales. Didn't make the World Cup, unfortunately, but we move on to another big disappointment. It's the United States of America. USA didn't make the 2018 World Cup. Wonder kid Christian Pulisic couldn't win the game against Trinidad and Tobago. I believe they lost to 2-1. I'm very disappointing, as they just thought that they were becoming a footballing nation and football was growing in the USA. They were just unable to qualify for the World Cup, and Christian Pulisic, man, we're not going to be seeing him at the World Cup. We move on to Group D. This is sort of the weaker teams that didn't make the World Cup, but they do have some standout players. And we move to Turkey. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, one of their standout players. They made the Euros. Didn't really do much at the Euros, but surprisingly didn't make the World Cup as well. As we move on to Slovenia. I know it's Slovenia, not really that big of a team. They do have Jan Oblak, a really good standout player, a really good goalkeeper for Atletico Madrid. Slovakia, which is Marek Hamšić nation, which aren't in FIFA, so I couldn't include them, so I had to put in Slovenia, unfortunately. We move on to Scotland, a nation which, isn't really don't really qualify for the World Cup that much. But another UK team that, you know, missed out on the World Cup, the Scots, will not be at the World Cup. Northern Ireland, they did make the playoffs, so I included them in there. Northern Ireland lost out to Switzerland. Unfortunately, that penalty in the first leg cost them the game and cost them a ticket to Russia. And those are the teams for groups. Keep in mind that nations like Ghana and Slovakia aren't in FIFA 18, so I couldn't include them in this. I would love to have included them, so I had to put in nations like, you know, New Zealand, Turkey, stuff like that, and Scotland, just to fill up the teams. So what we're going to do is simulate through the group stages, see who makes it out, just to see who can win this Reject World Cup. So we've simulated all the way until the last group stage game, and we're going to start at Group A. We have Chile topping the group here with 9 points, and the Ivory Coast here with 4 points as Cameroon and Austria, you know, getting knocked out of this Reject World Cup. In Group B, we do have Ireland and Italy getting out of the group. Italy getting 6 points, Ireland winning all 3, getting 9, and Greece and Czech Republic getting knocked out. Group C, the Netherlands and USA pretty much dominating there, but New Zealand actually getting a win. I'm not sure who that was against, probably Wales. Wales, unfortunately, not having a great time in that group. As we move on to Group D, Turkey and Northern Ireland do get out of the group. Slovenia and Scotland are packing their bags home, but we move on. And we do have Chile versus the United States, Ireland versus Northern Ireland. Wow, what a fixture that would be. I just realized that now. Ireland versus Northern Ireland. Imagine that was happening at the World Cup. Unfortunately, it's only happening in the Reject World Cup. We've got Netherlands taking on Italy, 2 former fallen giants who didn't make the World Cup. That'll be a very, very interesting game. We move on to Turkey and the Ivory Coast, a very well-balanced teams. So it's going to be very interesting to see who will win. Wow, what a simulation that has been, and what matchups we've got for ourselves here as Turkey are still in this. We go to the calendar. We're going to simulate past this game to see what happens, and the following teams have been knocked out of the competition. Northern Ireland got defeated by Ireland. The United States got knocked out. The Netherlands lost to Italy, and the Ivory Coast got taken out by Turkey. As we move on, I'm gonna have a look at the scores to see what happened. Italy got the clutch victory, 1-0 against the Netherlands. Turkey 2-1 against the Ivory Coast. Ireland took on the North of Ireland and defeated them 2-0 respectively. Chile took on the United States in a little CONCACAF battle there and took them out 2-1. So we're gonna have a look to the final. I don't know why this is called the final when there's 2 games, but we're just gonna call this the semi-finals and see what happens. We got Chile taking on Ireland and Turkey taking on Italy. So we've got very, very interesting draws here. Very good games coming up. We're gonna see who makes the final in this one. Turkey taking on Italy. We're gonna simulate this one. All right, we're gonna simulate this one. Turkey taking on Italy in the semi-final of this Reject World Cup. We're gonna simulate this. We're going to skip, and Italy move on to the final with a Leonardo Bonucci goal in the 85th minute. What a man. If only he could have done that against Sweden. Turkey get knocked out. Italy move on to the final of the Reject World Cup. We got another semi-final here. Chile taking on Ireland. We're going to simulate this one. Chile with a very, very strong team there, as well as Ireland. Chile make it 2-1. Sanchez and Vargas get 2 goals there for Chile, whilst McLean only getting 1 for Ireland. Unfortunately, equalizing after Sanchez's goal, but Vargas proved to be too strong, and it's Chile taking on Italy in the final. So it's Italy taking on Chile in the final of the tournament. I don't know why the tournament is stuffed up like this, but we're going to have Chile taking on Italy in the final of the Reject World Cup. We're going to watch it happen and see how the game progresses. We're going to have no say in this one. We're not going to control anyone. We're going to see how Italy and Chile go. We're going to have to take a look at the top goal scorers. Turkey there with Erkin getting 4 goals. Babel for the Netherlands as well. Valdivia for Chile with 3. McLean and Wieland as well getting up there. Altidore and Johnson for the United States. Bonucci getting 2 goals for Italy. Chris Wood getting 2 for New Zealand. We're going to take a look at the fixtures as we move on. We're going to see all the group stage fixtures. As you can see there, any interesting results. USA defeating New Zealand 5-1 there. Not really that many other results. New Zealand also getting smashed 4-1 by the Netherlands. Just trying to see if there are any other great results. Not really. Semi-finals, a bit of a low-scoring semi-finals, and the finals low scoring as well. So that is all for the Reject World Cup. We're now going to move on to the final against Chile taking on Italy. We're going to have a look to see who will win the Reject World Cup and who might have deserved to be in the 2018 World Cup in Russia. We're going to have a look at that. Oof, guys, it says international friendly, but we know this means a lot more. The reject World Cup final teams that should have made the World Cup but didn't, and there were a lot in this 2018 World Cup qualifying process that, are very, very good footballing nations but didn't make the World Cup, and this is a chance for them to show their worth, get a bit of pride back for not qualifying for the World Cup. We do have in the final, after we simulated that tournament, Italy taking on Chile in the final. We got Italy trying to restore a bit of pride, as well as Chile, two very big teams, one from Europe, one from South America. We're going to see how it pans out in this one final game. Vargas onto Valdivia. Alexis Sanchez puts a through ball to Isla, but Donnarumma saves with ease. Immobile gets a chance here, but Claudio Bravo saves with ease, as well as Donnarumma. Alright, Italy are on the break here. Candreva is through. He gives the cross to Immobile, but like his many crosses in real life, don't find the target. Italy making their way through with Parolo. Gabbiadini gives it off to Dami, and he's in the box. He takes a shot to Jorginho. He gives it through to Gabbiadini. Nice build-up play. Gabbiadini actually having a good game. If he cuts back, gives it off to Ciro Immobile. And 1-0 to the Azzurri. Italy make the breakaway here against Chile. And Ciro Immobile, one of the hottest strikers in Europe right now. 15 goals for Lazio in Serie A. Gets Italy off to the perfect start in the reject World Cup 2018 final, but Immobile tucks that home. Bravo can't get near it, and the Azzurri are 1-0 up thanks to Ciro Immobile. What a tackle from Jorginho there. Unfortunately, Chile still have the ball. Valdivia gives it off to Alexis Sanchez. He's making his way through, takes a shot, and that was nearly a goal there. Second half is underway here at the Stadio Olimpico of the final of the Reject World Cup. Italy taking on Chile. Let's hope for a really, really decent second half. Daddy Man gives a cross into Ciro Immobile, and wow, that nearly made it in. Claudio Bravo cannot believe his defense there, and Italy could have had a second, and I think that's a corner. Yeah, it is. As Chile trying to find an equalizer here with Alexis Sanchez as they move on. Alexis Sanchez gets the ball again. Can he have a shot? Yes, he can. Did that come off the post? I have no idea. It just went too fast. Alexis Sanchez with another thunderous strike here. We're going to have another look at that. Did it come off the post? Yes, it did. And Valdivia just made his way through. Alexis Sanchez gives it off to Paredes, and Chile do find an equalizer. As soon as I started talking about it, Alexis Sanchez, the provider, jumps on Paredes' back. Chile have found a goal here through Alexis Sanchez, giving it off to Paredes. Donnarumma couldn't save that one. And what a goal there for Chile, getting the equalizer through Paredes. Golden goal. Whoever gets the first goal wins the game. Fair and square. Let's go. Golden goal between Italy and Chile in the Reject World Cup 2018 final. Oh, Chile on the attack here. All of a sudden, it's 3v3. Alexis Sanchez can win it for Chile. And what a goal it is in the 120th minute of golden goal extra time. Chile find a little breakaway after all that pressure in extra time and find a goal. 2-1 to Chile. Alexis Sanchez this whole game has been finding space, shooting, and he finally makes the right space, takes the early shot, first time. And what a goal that was. I can't even complain about that. Alexis Sanchez, what a finish that is. Curls it right into the left corner there. Donnarumma can do nothing about that. Italy's defense can do nothing about that. And Alexis Sanchez, after all those shots, gets a goal. Well deserved for Chile. And they do win the Reject World Cup 2-1 in extra time against Italy. What a game it's been. If you guys have enjoyed this video, this type of video, smack the like button if you do enjoy it. Subscribe for more FIFA 18 World Cup, Football Manager, all this football content for you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more. Comment down below for what you guys want to see next. Follow me on Twitter. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the next video.